praising me. Now it's time to show and prove.
Good afternoon and welcome to Rubbin'Minds. My name is Isabella Adediji. Now, it's been 1 year since the new administration, not so new anymore, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office. And there's so many bold and audacious moves that this government has made right from the moment this government was sworn in. We all remember last year when it was announced that the subsidy has been removed on petroleum products. We also remember the audacious move to float the naira. And we've seen some of the effects with inflation. We've seen cost of living increase. We've also seen the introduction of the student loan. And then most recently, we're now going back to the old anthem, which is now the new anthem, Nigeria, We Hail Thee. 1 year has passed. Is it too early to start asking those questions, to start holding this government accountable on the manifesto promises? Some Nigerians have even gone as far as saying, well, they prefer the previous administration. Or do we still need to give this administration time to prove itself? How do we go forward from here 1 year into office? And to discuss this and to look back at some of the key moments of this administration in the past 1 year, I have with me in the studio a policy research and development expert in the person of Israel Fawale. Welcome to Rubbin'Minds.
Oh, thank you so much, Isabella. Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. We also have joining us virtually via Zoom, Tochukwu Simon, who is a media personality. Hello, Tochukwu.
Hello, Isabella. Hi, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to have you. So I'll start with you, Israel. Let's look at the past 1 year. Is it too soon to start holding this government accountable to those electoral promises? Do Nigerians need to exercise a bit more patience to see some of these bold and audacious moves yield the returns and dividends that have been promised, dividends of a renewed hope?
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Just like you have rightly said, it is not too soon. If we have given the president a chance, this is 365 days, counting, and we are not seeing evidence of, we're not seeing beautiful outcomes of the democratic processes. It is high time we start asking questions. And you rightly mentioned about the audacious move of the removal of fuel subsidy. I mean, it is no news. It is one of the fundamental moves of the Mr. President, and it's quite wrong. I mean, we understand the fact that the president has very ambitious, economic reforms, but there are processes when it comes to implementing policies. Back then, Daniels and Sabins, for example, gave us an ethical framework when it comes to policy implementation. We call it A for R. Accountability for reasonableness. And it gives us some 4 conditions, critical conditions, that when you want to make a policy, these are some of the things, you should look at. It talked about the relevance. Yeah, what are the concerns? What are the evidences? What are the reasons why you want to make this decision? It's very, very important. You also want to check the what do you call it? You want to look the publicity, how public, what is the perception of the public? Because sometimes you think, as government, it's very important to give these people water. But truly, truly, have you asked them what they truly want, how they want to be led? So it's very important that, people you are leading, you carry them along, you ask them questions, not to just come in with some very beautifully designed, policies, and you think, imposing them on, the populace, and that is not the right thing. So sometimes it's very good that, as a leader or as government, it's very good that you first calm down, engage the people, get feedbacks, and that's why, in the process of policy making, there's something we call it assessment. Have you really gone around to gather together data to help you make informed decisions about the need of the people? And that is one of the first things that I feel Mr. President should have done.
So that consulting the people before announcing some of these huge reforms that have lasting impact. I'd like to move to you, Tochukwu, and I'm posing the same question. Is it too soon to start demanding for the fulfillment of those electoral promises? And in your own view, following up on what Israel said, were Nigerians consulted? Was there enough consultation before some of these bold and audacious moves were made by the president and his administration?
Thank you very much, Isabella. First of all, there's a saying, I'm Igbo, so there's a saying where I come from, that it's from the daytime that you can predict how the rest of the day will be. From morning, that's how you predict how the rest of the day will be. And so far, judging this administration, the morning has been very disastrous. There's been no tangible improvement. There's been nothing to write home about. Buhari's administration set the bar very, very low. So this administration just had to come in and just make small changes to sort of like improve the lives of Nigerians. But nothing has been done so far. And so this first year, I just want to tell Nigerians to brace up because it's not looking good. And from what Israel said, it is very true. During Bola Ahmed Tinubu's inauguration, he announced quite abruptly that subsidy was gone. And, this is not how you make certain policies that have such a huge impact on the lives of millions and millions of Nigerians. You don't just announce it, but what you do is cause a lot of panic. And that's exactly what happened, because we saw, and we are still seeing the impact of, fuel scarcity, the fuel queues, the prices have gone all over the roof. People are buying for 600, 700, 900. I'm currently in the East. We're buying from 800 to 840. So you don't just announce a policy like that without setting a framework for how this is going to impact on the people. And we see that in certain policies as well. With the anthem change, there was no consultation with the people. Do we need a new national anthem or an old national anthem at this point? We don't see that. We don't see that connection with the people with Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. And that is very worrisome.
Okay, I'm going to move back to you, Israel. And in defense of the administration, they say the removal of subsidy allows for investments to come in, and that money that has been budgeted in the past for subsidy can be diverted to infrastructural development. Now, we know that building infrastructure takes time. So do you also agree that Nigerians should brace up? Are you hopeful that the promised infrastructure will manifest, and is it worth the sacrifice that Nigerians have had to make in this past 1 year?
Okay, so I'm going to use the Abraham Maslow hierarchy of need, for example, to paint a portrait of a scenario. The most basic is shelter, food, and all of those things. So you don't have a shelter, you are buying assorted suits, like all these very expensive suits. I mean, after wearing the suit, where are you going to sleep? So these are basic things. So we are not saying that infrastructural development is not good, but we are saying that before you talk about infrastructural development, people must at least be able to live comfortably. It is who is alive that will enjoy the infrastructural development. And what is the point when there is serious, significant economic hardship in the land? People have gone into crime. There has been a lot of, moral breakdown, moral decadence, and you're now building infrastructure. The money you will spend, mitigating the effect of moral decadence is even going to be much more, because simple protest, people are going to destroy, some of these things. We are not encouraging violence during protest, but we are saying that if people are not comfortable, if people cannot, the earning power of people is low, and there is serious, spending power, how are people going to survive? So we are not saying infrastructure is bad. It's very good to have such ambition, but we are saying that people should at least be able to, live comfortably. And that is what we are saying. And that is why we are saying that, yes, first subsidy removal, shows that, the president have, very beautiful economic reforms ambition for it is a very beautiful one. But we are saying before such decisions are made, before such policies are implemented, things should be, in place. So it's a very good, it is a welcome idea, infrastructural development, but basic need of the people must be made. Life must be made easier for the common man. People, when you want to look at the Abraham Maslow hierarchy, there are people who live, majority of Nigerians live at the base, of the pyramid, when all they want to even do in life is just to survive.
And that survival means afford meals and just have a roof over
just have a roof to live.
I'll move to you, Tochukwu, and again with these abrupt, as Israel has said, these moves without enough consultation. What do you feel the government should be doing in addressing the cushions that need to be there, whether it's palliatives or whether it is as simple as increasing the minimum wage? If we've seen inflation at an all-time high and the prices of food, shelter, the basic amenities have doubled and even tripled, what should the government be doing now?
I'm going to divest. I'm going to change the question a little bit from what the government should be doing to what they are not doing. Now is not the best time to be spending 90 billion on Hajj. We have very serious and dire economic challenges, and the government is not even, interested in solving those issues. You speak of palliatives. We shouldn't have to be constantly giving palliatives, because where is that money coming from? We can't be taking loans so that we can spend it on palliatives. Do you understand? Invest in human capital development, invest in education, invest in health. There was a time where expatriates used to come to Nigerian hospitals, spend foreign currency to get healthcare in Nigeria. If you invest in those critical areas that improve the capacity and the purchasing power of your people, then we can absorb the effect of the fuel subsidy. You can't be paying somebody 30,000 naira a month and selling fuel to them for 600 naira, 800 naira a liter, and then give them rice and indomie as palliatives. It doesn't make any sense. It's just very absurd. I don't know if you understand what I mean. When you put things in place so that people can earn, increase the employment rate, you understand? Reduce the taxes. People are poor, and you are taxing on top of poverty, and you're not increasing what they're earning. So make that make sense. So these are things that the government needs to do. Forget palliatives. We have so much money, and we're spending it on the wrong things. We can't be spending trillions on a road that nobody needs, that nobody asked for. We can't be spending almost 100 billion to finance a religious pilgrimage when we have people living in poverty. So the priorities of the government are not even right. And I don't think that the people that are making the decisions that affect over 200 million people even have their heads in the right place. So we might as well sit down all day and give advice and say this is what and what they should do. They don't have any intentions of getting this right. So it's just very...
The question is about government prioritizing things like education, like healthcare, prioritizing the minimum wage to ensure that the common man, the man that and woman that live on so little can afford the basics to move themselves from one place to the other to earn a decent wage. Now, I'd like to move to you, Israel. And in terms of prioritization in policy, how do you rate this administration in the past 1 year? Have they prioritized things that benefit the entire populace, or like Tochukwu said, is the priority in the wrong place, looking at pilgrimage, for example? And I know that this government has come out to say they are cutting down the cost of governance by limiting foreign trips. Is that enough?
Oh, okay. So there are quite a number of opinions I have about that I'm just going to say, but I would, if Mr. President have done something right that I feel I should really commend, is recent consultative meeting with Arewa Elders Forum, where he called on governors to give the local governments the autonomy that they deserve, because that is the hope of common man. I mean, in Nigeria, we have 808,806, words, and these are the words that mix for local government. And he talked about how that, development is actually a local thing. And of course, you have no business in, you have no business in governance or political arena if what you're thinking is not development. And if you're thinking development, you're thinking that it must start from the world. This location, for example, is in the ward. Development of each ward lies on the local government, administration. So, if there is something that I know that the government has, the president has, done well or shown intention of doing is about calling the governors to give that autonomy to, what do you call it, the local government authority. So that is fine. We hope that will not just stop as a mere press, conversation. We hope it will take necessary political steps to implement that. Of course, talking about the, what do you call, the policies, the 90 billion allocation for pilgrimage, is it subsidy or something, is a very wrong one. When people cannot eat, when people cannot afford to pay tuition. I mean, many public schools, even federal government schools, are increasing tuition fee. Yet we have 190 billion somewhere that cannot be pumped into education, and that is being given to pilgrimage people. This is a voluntary thing. If you want to go there, if you can't afford it, you should go on your own. So that is not a very good one. Also, policies that I feel the government should have done better. Of course, we are talking about healthcare. I mean, Tochukwu mentioned about, government should involve in healthcare. Of course, a healthy nation, when you want to talk about one of the indices to rate, a government is about their investment in health. Of late, we heard about the NMCN guide from the federal government that nurses should not travel, where we have a lot of nurses in Nigeria who are not even employed. How much are nurses, being paid, even in the country? So these are issues. We should look into this issue rather than placing priorities of policies on things, on chasing shadows and leaving the main, issues. If Nigeria is habitable enough, no nurse, no right-thinking person would think of, traveling outside the country. So why not think about policies that can encourage, people to stay back? Why, you should look at why are they running away. So increase. That's
a very important point that you bring up, and it ties into what Tochukwu said about human capital development.
Right.
And my question is, the human capital to be developed was seeing massive brain drain. We're seeing Nigerians leaving in droves to other countries to seek greener pastures. How do we now invest in this human capital when the human capital is departing the shores? And what has been the effect in the past 1 year of this brain drain to the economy, to the people? Tochukwu? Tochukwu, are you there? Tochukwu? Okay, I believe there might be a problem with the sound. We'll get back to you, Tochukwu. I'll move to you, Israel, and that point about the human capital development and the brain drain. We're seeing the effect. What does the government even need to do to the existing capital, and what has been the effect of that flight of talent? Okay,
so what I can say, one of the things I would say is that the brain drain can be turned into brain gain if the government is going to really invest in right policies. Let the government fund education properly. Let the government fund let there be policies to reform the healthcare sector, address issues of medical imperialism within the sector, lopsided government appointments within the sector, carry all stakeholders. When you talk about the healthcare sector, you talk about the nursing, you talk about the lab scientists, you talk about the radio people, bring everybody to the round table, give everybody an equal ground to contribute, to policy making processes. Do you involve these people when you are making policies? I mean, we've seen the National Association of Nigerian Nurses coming out to say, oh no, they stand against this. That means they were not even carried along before that policy was made. So people, relevant stakeholders needs to be carried along. So it goes back to that point on engaging the people before going about making some of these decisions that have very huge impact on everyone else. Sorry, I wanted to see if we can get Tochukwu. Okay. Tochukwu, are you still there? Tochukwu.
Yes.
I'd like to ask.
Can you hear me?
Yes, good to have you back. I'd like to know how you rate this government on security, because we know that in the eastern parts we're still hearing of the Monday sit at home, and just like Israel has said that this government is engaging with, say, the governors. How do you rate this government, and even down to the governors, in ensuring that we have peace? People are safe to move about from place to place?
It's unfortunate that I was just checking the Global Terrorism Index, and Nigeria is currently number 8 on the list of most terrorized countries in the world. And security is a very, very key part of building our economy, because without security, the food inflation that we're seeing now and food insecurity that we're seeing now is as a result of insecurity. Farmers can't go to their farms anymore. So, so far, we're not seeing any significant improvements in security. We're still seeing a daily news coming out from Plateau, from Abia State, just over the last week. People can move about on Mondays. I'm currently in the East. I came to visit my family, and last week I wanted to go out on Monday, and my parents said, "Don't go anywhere." I was like, "You people still do this?" So there's really no serious effort to curb insecurity. There's no, the president is supposed to be the commander in chief, and we're not seeing that sort of, commanding or leadership leading from the front. We've not seen the president even going to empathize with places where, bandits or terrorists have struck. We're not seeing any attempts to beef up security. What we're seeing is sort of reactive approach instead of a proactive approach to fighting insecurity. And that's just not how to deal with this issue. We have to fight, these
all right.
practice agents. You get.
Yes, the government needs to do more. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for that contribution. Just before we go out of time, I just want to get your views, Israel, on the big one, corruption. Every government comes promising to address corruption at the roots to ensure that almost that big elephant in the room is eradicated. How would you rate in a minute or less this government in the past 1 year?
Oh, to be very honest, I think Mr. President and this administration have really tried on the issue of corruption. We have seen the EFCC chairman, standing and, facing the giants to say, "Oh, no, I'm going to bring you to, to justice. Whether you like it or not, run away, we would look after you." So I think they have, so far so good, been transparent in their approach to fighting corruption. I think I would give that to them. They have tried their best. So far so good.
Okay. And very quickly, I think we still have about 30 seconds or so. Tochukwu, if you can just weigh in on corruption, and that'll be the final contribution.
The Better I Do has not been tried. Billions have been allocated for road constructions. No transparency in contract award and approvals. So I would rate this administration very low on fighting corruption. I have very little expectations for them in that regard, really.
Very little in that regard. Thank you, Tochukwu, media personality who has joined us on Zoom, for your contributions. And thank you, our policy research and development expert, Fawale Israel, for your contributions.
Thank you so much.
On Rubbin'Minds. How would you rate this administration in the past 365 days, in the past 1 year? How has this government fared in delivering those electoral promises, promising a renewed hope on security, on the economy, on healthcare, on education? A lot of questions are out there. Nigerians want answers. Of course, you can always join our conversation online. We still have 2 more segments coming up, so don't go anywhere. We're going on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the show. Stay with us. Gone are the days when a girl, a woman, is only to be seen and only to be heard and not seen. Gone are the days where the woman is reserved to certain rooms and their functions go beyond just child rearing and homemaking. We've gone past that. And it's so important that the girls we're raising see women achieve their potential. Before, women didn't go to school. Before, women didn't campaign. They didn't end up on the ballot sheet. But a lot has changed. And I think it's so important that these girls begin to see role models that they can aspire to, role models that inspire them to be all that they can be. And that's why it was so important for the AW network to host schoolgirls to watch the Fumilayo Ransom Kuti biopic, which was directed and produced by the award-winning Bolanle Austin Peters.
Enjoy yourself. Make sure that you're exploring all of those things, because guess what? Those things will lead you to the opportunities that will make you a great leader tomorrow. That will make you one of the women that we're sitting up here. You know, that will make you achieve amazing things.
Fumilayo Ransome-Kuti was a determined woman, a lioness, a courageous woman, very nice and kind. Like, she's not my new role model. I love her so much.
If we see people that have done stuff, then it breaks the barriers of our minds, right? If you use like runners, like before Usain Bolt, broke the record, people thought that there was only such a limit that you could reach, right? And then people have gone after that to try, right? Because they know it's possible. And so when you see women rising to the top of their careers, doing amazing things, being amazing people, mothers, then it tells you that there's nothing you can't do, right? It just gives you permission to be great.
What I also learned is that we should always be courageous, we should have a kind character, and we should learn how to stand up for ourselves.
We should always come out and be bold in everything we do, and we should always come as fighters, and we should do things to consider the opinion of others.
I just watched Fumilayo Ransome-Kuti. The movie is really nice and all. You must be bold, courageous, chase your dreams. So it's just a way to like reach out to all ladies, all women out there, all girls, that we should like chase our dreams. We should always be bold. We should go at it.
I really wish to be someone like her one day, very soon.
Did you enjoy the film? Yes. Did you learn one or two things from it? Yeah. Are you sure? I'm sure you learned. Most important thing that you must have learned is that it's possible as a girl child to do so much with your life, right?
That was really heartwarming, seeing those girls speak about courage, about following their dreams, about being inspired. And I'm glad that no one said, oh, Fumilayo Ransome-Kuti was the first woman to drive a car, because there's so much to that story, to that potential of the female child, as we have seen in women before us, like Fumilayo Ransome-Kuti. Now, moving to our child actor today. You've probably seen her in the movie Obaram. You've seen her in the African Magic series Covenant, as well as other productions. It's such a delight to have Darasimi Nadi on the show. Welcome to Rubbin'Minds.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. Now, I'm really curious because I look at you and I wish, I look back at my earlier years, and I know it was a dream to be an actor or an actress, and somehow that didn't work till maybe much later. So what was the journey like? I'm sure you nursed the same dream as I did, but somehow you're able to make it a reality. Take us down that lane.
My journey to acting wasn't really smooth because my mom was against it. She didn't want me to be an actor because she didn't like the fact that many producers wanted their children to be actors. So she didn't want me to be an actor. But I wanted to be an actor.
I love that.
To me, what I want is what matters. So it took
So how did you convince your mom?
It took months to convince her. Every single time we're watching a movie and I see a child actor, I'll be like, I can do better. Then I'll take the line out, I'll be like, Mommy, can't you see? I can do better. My mom still didn't believe me until one day her friend came, and it was her friend who saw that I could act. And then the rest is history.
Oh, wow. So you didn't give up. You made sure that you showed your potential. I love that, not just watching and saying, well, I can do it, but actually showing that you can do it. like, who inspired this love for acting? Do you have actors locally or internationally that encouraged, inspired, motivated you to keep at it?
Well, no.
Okay.
I just felt like I was meant for the camera. Because my mom's a producer, like I said before, and she's done a couple movies and I've seen it before. And I just felt like, Darasimi, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to do this. So there was nobody who inspired me. I inspired myself to do it. So, yeah.
Okay. Would you say in any way your mom being a producer might have opened your eyes to some of the opportunities, or was it just watching other child actors and thinking, well, I can do that and I can do better?
It was just watching other children and saying, I can do better. Like, who's this? I can do better. So everyone keeps thinking my mom was the one who pushed me, but I pushed myself.
It's interesting to know that a producer who knows the potential of raising a child actor who can go on to have an illustrious career as an adult was even the one who had the fears and the doubts about it. Okay, now I'm looking at schoolwork, because I think that's the main thing. That how do you balance schoolwork? How do you balance? Do you act in school? How do you balance those commitments?
Yes, I act in school sometimes, and sometimes I direct plays and pantomimes for my school. And I have lesson teachers when I'm available. They come over to my house and then we do lessons. And then I have online lesson teachers. Yeah, so that's how I balance. And when I'm in school, I pay full attention.
So do you have to miss school on some days, or you just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when I was doing Obaram, I missed my exams.
Wow.
So I had to come back and do it.
That means you must have had to convince the school authorities.
No.
And they were okay with
They're
you?
They're just fine with it. As long as I come back, write my exams, and perform well, they're fine with it.
Do you then feel under pressure, like having to learn lines, but also having to remember stuff you've studied in school?
No. So I teach myself to act. So I don't need to cram the lines. I read the script, understand it, become the character. And when I get on set to shoot that particular scene, I read the lines. So I don't have to learn it. So I don't feel under pressure. And when I'm free, I read. So yeah, I don't feel under pressure at all. And yeah, basically.
So tell me, like, let's go back in time to the first opportunity you had, whether it was a movie or a series. Did you have any sort of fears, any apprehension, or was just all excitement? Walk me through that.
Okay, the first movie was, the title of the movie is Unforgotten, I think. I'm not sure. And I did it with Miss Bolaji and some other actors. So yes, it was basically excitement, and I wasn't perfect. No one is perfect. So when I got on set, I was I was smiling and taking my lines because I was a beginner. Yes, I was a beginner. So I was smiling and taking my lines, but everyone could see that I can do better than that. So basically, yeah.
So how did the director work with you to improve your courage, to improve your craft?
Okay, so he gave me tips before I went on set. He's like, okay, for this scene, you're supposed to cry. So even if you can't bring out tears, just make it look like you're crying. And then I'm like, so he just kept pushing, and he didn't want to stop because he saw that this little girl has potential. We should push her. And
how old were you when that happened?
I was 8.
8. Mm-hmm. So you've been acting for how many years now?
4 years.
Wow, 4 years. What has been the biggest lesson in those 4 years?
I'm a work in progress. I am never going to be perfect. The best thing I can do is be my best. And I cannot go off my limits to do something, like to push to be perfect, because I can't be perfect. Like when I was 8, I told someone, a guest on my show, that you can't be a perfectionist. It's not right. Just do your best. I always knew that I can't be perfect. So I'm a work in progress. And I feel like everyone else is a work in progress. So no one can be perfect. That's just it.
A work in progress. So have you now done anything to improve yourself? Maybe watch videos on YouTube or sign up for acting classes?
So I did Kids Can Act with Mr. Staninze.
Okay.
And I learned a lot of things that I am sure I will never forget. And it really helped a lot with my career because every single time I read a script, I just remember all those things. And yes, sometimes I watch a few stuff on YouTube so that I could like understand the character better. Like when I was playing an autistic character, I had to go to YouTube and understand everything I needed to know about being an autistic child. So yes, I go to YouTube sometimes, and I've signed up for an acting class once.
Okay, it's good to see that you're taking proactive steps to improve your craft. Now, I'm curious to know, have you now decided to work with Mom? Have you starred in any of her productions? Any particular reason why?
My mommy doesn't want.
Till now, she still doesn't want you.
No, since I convinced my mom that I could act, she's my #1 fan. But the thing is, she does her movies outside of Lagos. And when she does it, I'm in school. So she doesn't want to pull me out because of her own movie.
Ah. That's the mother in her that is thinking like, okay, let's balance it. Maybe if it happens during the holidays, maybe.
Yes, then you can follow me, but like, now sit down. Sit down there.
Does it pay well as a child actor? Do you get control of your money, or does Mom take everything and use it for your school fees?
Nope.
It doesn't pay well.
It pays well.
Oh, it
actually
does. Okay.
My mom doesn't keep all my money. I have allowances.
Okay.
And my mom always teaches me to save my money. Like, she's going to keep that bulk with herself. But if I need it, she's going to give me a little out of it. Not the entire money I need. Because you got your monthly allowance, so add it to the one that you need. So basically, my mom doesn't take everything and keep it to herself. My mom's not greedy.
Oh, so as you're making all this money, which you say is good money as a child actor, you're not allowed to start flexing, buy the latest clothes, shoes, and show that you're a movie star.
No.
Okay.
What's the use?
What are you saving it for?
Well, I'm saving it to buy my phone when I'm 14.
Okay. That's a good one. The phone will probably cost a pretty penny if you're saving it till then. Okay. What are the perks of being an actress? Do you go to places and they're asking for your autograph, or they're giving 2 pieces of meat instead of 1?
Okay. Yes. I get... I'm given an advantage that's when people know it's Darasimi. Sometimes I go on set and nobody knows who I am. No matter how popular you are, there's that one person who doesn't know who you are. Like one of my classmates, she only found out 4 weeks ago who Barack Obama was.
Wow.
So no matter how popular you are, there's that one person who wouldn't know you. And yes, the people who know Darasimi want to take pictures with Darasimi, want to show their children or their friends that they were with Darasimi. And I actually love it.
So you have lots of fans.
Yes.
Okay, how do your friends cope with the fame? Like, do people want to be your friends just because they see you on TV? So how do you know who is really your friend and who just wants Darasimi the actor? Okay,
so when you come to meet me for the first time, I strike a conversation with you. And if you cannot strike a personal, not so personal conversation, then I know that you're not meant to be my friend. If you keep talking, oh yeah, how do you act? How are you on TV? Da da da.
And we're out of time, but my final question is, what advice do you have for child actors watching you, wanting to be just like you?
Be yourself and always find a way to be in the spotlight, because you're meant to be in the spotlight. Everyone's meant to be in the spotlight. Whatever you can do, just be there, okay?
Thank you very much, Darasimi Nadi, for being our guest on Rubbin'Minds, and all the best with your future productions and school.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll take a quick break here on Rubbin'Minds. Don't go anywhere.
Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove.
What is it like raising children in a generation of artificial intelligence? In a generation where everything is literally at the tip of your fingers, a generation where devices are readily available, information, lots of information is at the fingertips of these children. And there's the pressure of social media, of acceptance, not just to their immediate peers, but to a wider community and indeed a global village. In a time when gentle parenting is being promoted, in a time when we're having conversations around diversity, you will agree that raising children is a different kettle of fish in today's world. To discuss raising kids today, the challenges and some of the successes that are there, I have with me the co-founder of Readland Global, Dr. Francis Adeshina, joining us via Zoom. Good afternoon, Dr. Francis.
Good afternoon, Ma. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on Rubbin'Minds. Now, we talk about values. I know there's a Yoruba proverb that goes something along the lines of remember who you're from, or the child of who you come from. Remember your background, your family. So when we say that to our children, we're reminding them of the values that the family stands for. So in your opinion, what values should we be instilling in our children?
Yeah, the backbone of every value is tied to spirituality, the source of morals. So the fundamental values that needs to be installed in every child is that every child should know that they are representing a family, because the family is the smallest denominator of a society. So whenever they are outside, they are an ambassador reflecting the ideology or the identity of their family. So the place of value is critical to their character, is critical to their identity, is also critical to their source.
So you're very big on spirituality and the background of that family. Now, I want us to move to the actual parenting. For a lot of us who grew up, say, in the 80s or even before then, there was that sense of strictness and discipline being equal to corporal punishment, being equal to being flogged, for example, being spanked. But now we're in an age of gentle parenting. How does a traditional parent learn to gentle parent? And is that what parents should be doing, gentle parenting, engaging their children in conversations, as opposed to being strict, like spare the rod, spoil the child?
Yeah, I think before we decide to choose which one works, I think the purpose of parenting should first of all be established. Parenting is the deliberate art, ART, and the deliberate act, ACT, of building a successful first marriage, then a home. A home is an environment where children are planted like seeds and are expected to thrive. So the how now talks about maybe coming hard or coming gentle, because you can practice either of the two and still fail as a parent. So parenting is the leadership arm of the family that is shouldered with the responsibility to raise children that will become change agents, mandated to ensure that the society thrives. You understand? So which one works for your child? The ultimate goal is getting that result.
So whether you're going strict and hard or you're being gentle, the result is what is important. And in your in this conversation, you've mentioned raising change agents. Now, in raising change agents, where's the place of technology? We know that from a very young age, children are addicted to their screens. Sometimes even the schools ensure that they have screen time to do assignments, but at the same time, they're exposed to some immoral content that's out there on the internet. So how does a parent manage technology in raising this change maker?
Like I said, majorly, the purpose of parenting is also your ability to set a vision for your child, a vision in a home or a family big enough to accommodate their unique goals, set goals. But as a parent, it is your responsibility to lead that journey. Now tying technology to it, you'll agree with me that technology is the language of the future. So navigating through this path to fulfilling those visions or inherent uniqueness, desires or ambition of that child, they have no choice to understand the language of the future. And this language can be platforms or devices. The same way children navigate through the community, as it were, so also technology has created another new space, another new community where they need to navigate through to reach their future. Like you earlier said, the place of value is critical. So when this value system is installed into them as their fundamental mindset, as they navigate using all these devices, they know what is wrong, they know what is right. Your ability to guide them through that journey makes the responsibility of parenting for you a must. It's something you can't share the responsibility and go and rest. You cannot delegate that responsibility and have a backseat. You need to be on your toes. You need to curate timetables, timelines on when to use it, how to use it. You understand? Maybe I should stop here.
So the parents need to take full and active responsibility in raising their children and raising them to navigate technology by letting them know what's right and what's wrong. Now, when we look at this internet age, we've seen several instances recently of bullying, for example. We've seen instances of sexual assault happening in the schools. What can the parent do to teach their children about such situations so they're not in a position to become victims of these vices?
Yeah, like I said the family unit or the home is the smallest denominator of a society. It simply means what we see in the society is what is going on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Francis Additional. Sadly, we're out of time. Thank you. He's the co-founder of Readland Global. Thank you for your contributions on raising children today. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll now bring this edition of Rubbin'Minds to an end. My name is Isabella Adediji. Remember to join the conversation online using the hashtag Rubbin'Minds. Do have a great afternoon.
Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time.